Stonewall Award, something that we present here at Pride Lights every year. Kevin Powers is here. He's a member of the AIDS Action Committee Board of Directors. He's going to come up and tell you a little about sort of what the criteria is for that Stonewall Award. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Kevin Powers.
Thank you, Keith. Tonight we present the annual Spirit of Stonewall Award to Frank Ribaudo. AIDS Action Committee honors Frank for his tireless, selfless, and unsung efforts over the last 25 years to fight HIV and AIDS for the LGBT people who live or find themselves in Boston. This award is given annually to an individual who is a member of the GLBT community, is active in the fight against HIV and AIDS, and has made a significant contribution to awareness, prevention, or policy of HIV and AIDS in the last year, and also has accomplished their work in the spirit of Stonewall by being directly responsible for the creation of a new program that has become a model for others, and by taking a public stand based on individual principles that didn't necessarily reflect or agree with convention. We believe that Frank more than qualifies for this great honor this evening.
Thank you, Kevin. I'd like to tell you a little bit more about why we chose to honor Frank Ribaudo this year. For 25 years, Club Cafe has really stood as a beacon for many people in the gay, lesbian, bisexual, and transgender community. And Frank really is a living testament to the fact that you can have a successful and profitable business and still give back to the community that is important to you. Frank has never turned away anybody who's been looking for a community group that was looking for a meeting space or an opportunity to hold a fundraiser. He was instrumental in the creation of the Harbor to the Bay, the Provincetown, the Boston to Provincetown bike ride that takes place coming up in September, where all of the proceeds, 100% of the proceeds from that bike ride, are delivered to the AIDS service organizations that are involved as well, and that's pretty amazing. Frank and his staff have been so welcoming to us at AIDS Action Committee and to so many members and to all of you here that we thought it was only time that we honor Frank Ribaudo. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the stage the Spirit of Stonewall Award winner for 2008, Mr. Frank Ribaudo.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Keith. Thank you so much, AIDS Action, and thank you so much to all my friends out here in the audience. I have a couple of little notes here, people I want to thank. First of all, thank everyone who made it here tonight. I really appreciate your support. To my friends, to my employees, to my Club Cafe softball players, and most importantly, to my partner, Joe Posa. Most of you know him as Joan Rivers. You know, he's one of the most notable Joan Rivers in the country. But thank you so much to all of you for being here. In 1983, we started Club Cafe with three partners. It was Club Cafe and the Metropolitan Health Club. It was all one business back then. And we actually started with the intent of just opening up the health club. But the landlord at the time said, I'm not going to rent you that space down in the basement unless you also rent that space up on the street level. So I said to Franco Campanella, who was one of my partners at the time, well, you know, let's just do a little cafe upstairs on the first floor. And that's how it got its name, Club Cafe. And Franco said to me, well, you know, if we're going to have a restaurant up there, you're going to run it because I don't want to run a restaurant anymore. He used to own Cafe Calypso across the street, which was then became Hammersley's Bistro, and so many things along the way. Well, several months later, that's what wound up happening. Franco and Caleb decided that they were going to just run the health club, and they took over and ran that business as a separate business. And Joe McAllister, who unfortunately passed away in 1993 from this horrible epidemic, and I took over Club Cafe and have run it ever since. But our initial reason for starting this business was actually motivated by our outrage. And we were outraged because there was a health club at the time located just a couple of blocks down from us that was discriminating against people that they thought were obviously gay. And if people were effeminate, they would sort of drag them off the floor into a little private office, and they would threaten them with physical harm if they would return to the club. So Joe and I decided, while the club was under construction, to sell memberships in the lobby of the building. And we offered memberships for $90 for 90 days. And if you brought a card from a neighboring health club, we threw another 30 days membership in there for free. Well, within 60 days of opening up Metropolitan Health Club, we collected 800 membership cards from that homophobic club down the street, and within 9 months they were out of business. This, as was the case with the Stonewall riots back in 1969, was a huge lesson for us of the power of the gay community, and that it further motivated us to stand up and never be afraid of those who, through fear and ignorance, would try to keep us from living our lives and being who we are. So that was a real early lesson for us. In the early days of Club Cafe, we had more memorial services than celebrations. But it was that very difficult period of time in our history. All right, knock it off. It was that very difficult time in our history that actually brought us together as a community. It was the challenge, the pure challenge of survival that brought many of us that are out here tonight to rise up against this enormous challenge we call HIV. So it was actually that fight and that enabled us to be here today, that enabled us to have the gay marriage in Massachusetts and now in California. It's all of the things that we've accomplished as individuals all come out of this fight about AIDS. And I don't know how many of you realize that, but it's the gelling of this community. AIDS was the thing that brought us together, and together we're going to solve this epidemic. And together we're going to save lives. Thank you. Pride Lights was founded 14 years ago by my good friends Ed McLean and Steve Averish, and I hope you're out there tonight, guys, because it was their dream and their objective 14 years ago was to find an event that would bridge the gap between the gay and lesbian community and the greater community at large. And as I look around the South End now, I think it's been a huge success. What do you think? I mean, there's you know, because of organizations like Pride Lights, we can basically go anywhere we want, you know. And people along the years have said to me many times that, you know, maybe Club Cafe shouldn't be so gay. Well, you know, after 25 years at Club Cafe and at 63 years of age, I don't know any other way to be but gay. As I said, this is our 25th anniversary. We have lots of events going on this week, starting with a movie night tonight, Pride Idol tomorrow, Scott and Evans Thursday and Friday, Pride Saturday, and then we have fresh fruit on Sunday and a tea dance following, and lots of fun things to do in Boston. Thank you so much. I'm really honored to have been presented with this award. Happy Pride 2008.